No, but yesterday, Charlie, I enjoyed Azuma, man. Yesterday, Azuma was,
Azuma is great.
I saw a photo today of Azuma with the title 84. So did you watch the Gomez fight?
Bernard, 1984, I was in secondary school and
So you remember?
I lived in Kotobabi.
Jesus.
So Kotobabi is between Pig Farm and Accra New Town. So you can imagine. Most of the fights were around 2 a.m. Ghana time, you know.
Because it's Puerto Rico, it's
Yeah.
US, Las Vegas.
And guess what? And I don't know if people had this experience in our area.
They'll come together.
The moment Azuma wins, there's a large procession on the streets at dawn.
After the fight?
Yes.
Wow.
We all join. We don't know the people, but we join. Yeah. You go out to the crowd finishes, then you walk back. By which time it will be probably
But
5,
did
6
you
a.m.
guys used to watch it collectively or you
Oh, no, at home. At home.
No, you're watching at home because it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It's 2
You
a.m.
know, and people used to, Charlie, people will stay awake.
So
in
Azuma
communities.
was part of the national psyche. It's like everybody in Ghana is waiting for Azuma to fight. So if there's Azuma fight, you know the date. And we are all waiting to watch.
Azuma was the only hope
Of the Ghanaians.
of the Ghanaian
Wow.
until the Starlets
91. Okay. Wow.
Because at that time, Ghana football was becoming some way.
Yeah. We didn't do well in the 80s.
You know, after 82, everything just went berserk. But
Azuma
Azuma
was-
was it.
Kai.
And we looked forward to it.
Right.
We looked forward to it.
Wow.
You know, because, you know, we had our problems with the likes of DK Poisons
Yeah.
and, you know, I still remember DK Poison and Danny Little Lopez
In Ghana.
in Ghana. It was the biggest, you know.
Stadium.
I don't remember whether it was held in Ghana, but, you know,
It was a big fight.
big fight. And then Azuma. And you know, yesterday we exhausted this whole discussion, but, you know, it calls for a race strategy, another strategy.
Yeah, but I wanted to say something. When I called Amaka Amatif yesterday and he said Azuma was a national project. I don't know how to explain, maybe he would do it. But basically,
he will know.
Yeah, he's
He
saying
will
Azuma
know.
was a national
Amaka will
project.
know
So it
that.
was not just like
Random.
a random guy. The system was invested in his success. They knew that his victory meant something for Ghana.
I think
So-
Angela Markine was just being modest. I mean, it was his project, must be, because
He was a sports
Angela
minister.
Markine was also a boxing coach in the military.
Yes. Yes.
In the military,
Yes.
prior to this Azuma thing. So it's somebody who
Likes
had
boxing.
a passion for the sport and spearheaded, in fact, guided Azuma, was with Azuma in his travels and all that, you know. So kudos to Amaka Amatefu.
And then what we need to do to bring back the glory days of whatever sport it is, boxing or whatever.
Times have changed. You know, what we had back in the day that others did not have, they have also learned to have it. So when we are doing well, we now have to do better because other countries are now doing
So
well
it's
as
more
well.
competitive in every sport.
Yes. See football. There were countries that we never thought would be football countries. Madagascar.
Charlie.
And we are playing
We can't even
Madagascar.
beat Madagascar.
Yes. You understand?
Ghana has much with Comoros, they are sweating.
Yeah. I mean, 20 years ago, Comoros, you can even send your team B. Or
6 or 7 years ago, we went to Comoros and whitewashed them and came back happily.
Because
But right now, Charlie, everybody
is getting better at something.
But does that also then mean that for sports that we were not that good, we can also do well? Because if Comoros wasn't doing well in football, and now they are doing well in football because they've learnt it, then which we can say table tennis, badminton, whatever, swimming, which we can do something. You know, so
Yes, we can.
because
We can.
if you can put the resources in it, you can also level up. Or no, so
Yes, but I've told you this. You know, Samuel just said something which supports a point I was making to you last week. You know, when we had our extensive sporting week. He said Azuma was what?
a national project.
Good.
A national.
Point made. It is hard for the individual to do this.
The nation must
The
come.
nation must play a significant role in it.
And the media.
Yes, and the media as well.
And then, you know, let me tell you something. In South Africa, when they decided to focus on swimming, it was required that SABC should show up and partner the Swimming South Africa Committee. SSA they call.
You know they have world champions now.
That's what I'm saying. the media has to show commitment to it. And so SABC was actually mandated
to show it.
to show it. And that's how people generate interest. Let's quickly go. English Premier League.
Same thing.
It had to take Sky.
Rupert
Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch Sky. To let's package it. But this is the media thing. Let's use the media. So if we can't, look at what we did over
But
the weekend.
does there need to be some level of talent?
Yeah.
Then you sort of
Potentially, the talent is everywhere.
the talent is there.
Potentially, it's a honing of the talent, and then also creating awareness. Because if you don't create awareness, you can't create competition. If you can't create competition, you can't create value to attract sponsorship. And in most African countries, it is the lack of awareness, lack of sponsorship that is not helping the sports develop.
So that's where the interest doesn't come, and then it can't
Exactly.
be commercialized and stuff.
Why are people watching football from England and not watching football in Ghana? Is it because we don't have footballers? A promotion. One day, a certain person stood up at GFA and decided that only one station should show football in Ghana. When the infrastructure for dissemination of TV
Was
images-
expanding.
Yes.
So that was a tactical error.
For me, that was what
Because
killed
do
the
you know
thing.
that? Do you know that sometimes when I turn on my DSTV, I even see Ethiopian football.
But you see, when you say some of these things, and I get hurt because there are things I've said.
They are not minding you.
Nobody minds you. So I'm happy Samen said maybe Samen has greater weight.
Obviously.
No, but I'm just saying, even with the broadcasting rights, you see, because at a point the game had diminished. Nobody was watching. My suggestion at the time was, look, give the game to GTV. They are everywhere.
And we'll watch it.
Now, GTV helps you grow the game to a certain point.
Then you can re-commercialize it.
Then you can repackage and do whatever it is, whilst still giving them the opportunity to. Because, look, if you go to Tamale and you go to those, GTV is everywhere. So if our game has not reached the point where it is commercially, our game hasn't reached the level where you put it on PPV.
Not yet.
We are far
They're
from
not there,
pay-per-view.
and that's what has killed it further.
We are far from pay-per-view. Ghana foot, there's no way the Ghana Premier League in its current state should be on pay-per-view.
Why am I watching Ethiopian football on DSTV? Is it that nice? I've been seeing some.
I don't watch it.
But they show it.
Yes.
They are also, for all you know, they pay to
They
put
pay
it
to
on.
put it on.
Maybe they pay to put it on.
Because they want people to know that they also have talent.
But I completely agree with Samen. Removing the Ghana Premier League from the national screens
Was not
at the time when we needed it to be everywhere. They said we're growing back interest. How are you growing back interest? And at a point in time, there are only 100,000 people watching the Ghana Premier League. 100,000.
Major strategic
On
error.
screens.
Because
We Citi, we were kicked out of the Accra Sports Stadium in 2005, 2006. That we don't have the mandate to report local sports. In fact, that's what moved us to start doing English Premier League. I'm telling you, I had to travel to England to secure the rights. At that time, the product was not even in existence. But because we were kicked, Thomas, the head of technical, will tell you, we packed our equipment back because they said that you don't have the right to do commentary for local football. In Ghana here, it didn't happen to some, it happened to us. So if people with such myopic views are given the mandate to destroy us, and then later they go and sit somewhere and then say,
You take the team personal.
no, it's my experience, and I wonder.
No, it's
now we are
painful.
talking about aquatic sports.
He's swimming.
You are looking at, you are watching Olympic. When it gets to swimming, you tune off because you don't expect anything. Ghana. But what kind of investment have we made into swimming? And what does it take? Look at table tennis. When we were growing up here in Accra, every community had a table tennis center. Every secondary school dining hall had table tennis.
board,
Every university JCR had a table tennis board.
So why?
And how much does it
Only
cost?
Mensa Saba had it.
How much does this cost? Well, I lived in this area. Kokomlemle was a center because Hatramani lived in Kokomlemle. YMCA here, YWCA, everywhere in Kumasi, YMCA, table tennis, everywhere. What happened to
So
us?
what is the problem?
Planning,
Planning,
strategic thinking,
thinking.
and youth development. We are not thinking that if you can get every community to be excited about waking up in the morning on a weekend, hoping that there's a table tennis match, which doesn't cost much, it will keep them off the streets. It will keep them off crime. It will keep them off. I don't.
So
get
what is the long-term vision for the swimming?
the swimming.
What is the agenda?
Oh, our agenda is to put swimming in the spotlight because in recent past there have been new developments in that sector in Ghana, albeit mostly private.
Okay. Talking about the swimming
The
clubs.
swimming clubs. We
I didn't
have
know there were that many
so
swimming clubs.
swimming
I was
in
surprised
Ghana.
that a lot of parents I met will say, won't you bring your kids to a swimming club? I said, me, I didn't even know there was anything like a swimming club. So I thought there were about 15 swimming clubs.
plenty, maybe probably more than that. But
Wow.
even for what we just did, I'll tell you, we had Marlins Swimming Club,
The
we had
eventual winners.
Legon Sharks, we had African Sharks, we had Kumasi Dolphins,
Hey, that
we
is
had
serious.
Tema Seals, we had Torpedo, we have GH Aquatic Masters, we had Monarch Swimming Academy, we had Turtle Swim School, we have Alpha Swim School, we have Gaik Swimming Club, we have GH Dolphins, and then we had GH Bluefins and others. In all, we had a total of over 200 swimmers taking part in the competition.
But is swimming not an elite? When I say elite, it's like,
Middle class.
yeah, you need, like, it's like tennis. You need the resources. So it's not like,
Well, you can understand why it will come across as elitist because of what it takes
to
to learn 1st of all, and then the concentration or the lack of it, of the facilities.
Yeah.
How many Olympic standard pools do we have in Ghana? I'm not sure that I will exhaust my fingers if I'm counting.
how many?
2, right?
Only 2.
So this will
Burma
be
Camp.
Burma Camp and then
Then Emporium.
Emporium.
The Lagos one is not Olympic side.
No,
Because Olympics should be
50,
50,
50 meters.
But
50 meters by 25.
it will be when they are finished.
Yes.
So that will be 3
Yes.
25 meters with 50 meters.
along.
Yes.
Yes, at least. And then you have at least, the least depth should be 2 meters.
And then all
And
the
it
way
can
to.
go down to whenever.
And you should be able to segment it across.
Is the Swimming Association of Ghana serious about
Oh, they are serious.
getting us to become competitive at the global level?
They are serious. But I think, like I'm saying, that the gap was the media.
That was the main. There was no awareness. There
Of
was no
course,
interest.
there are other issues, but media creating proper awareness and bringing competition. Because, mind you, we have the swim league.
There's already a swim league.
Yes.
There's a swim league, but it's a private thing. The swim league is there.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
the clubs
so-
had
but it
been
doesn't-
meeting amongst
Yes,
themselves.
it doesn't have any media to support, so nobody gets to know. So
didn't know.
ours is, in fact, what we have started is going to be an annual national championships.
Okay.
And what we did this year, of course, Marlins kind of swept
They
They
everything.
swept everything. It's like they are the most experienced of the group.
They came with the best meal. They won the best meal trophy, the best female swimming trophy. They won the overall. In all, they had 63 medals.
63 medals. Yeah.
Hey,
34 gold, right? I think
Yes.
34 gold.
are they the biggest swim club in Ghana?
I don't know. Probably,
We
I
have
don't
to
know.
find out whether they are
You
the
know,
biggest,
and
but
we had
seem to have
we
very
had
good
the
swimmers.
breaststroke, the butterfly, the backstroke, the freestyle, and it's
They
just,
swept a lot of the awards.
yes, and all the others. I mean, I was
What was the
proud-
standard when you talk to the swimming officer? What was the standard of competition? Was it that good?
Well, they say it's good. I wouldn't know. They
Because
say
I heard
it's
people
good.
talking about their times reducing and things like that.
Yes, in improving
Yes.
on their
Improving
time.
on their
So
Yes,
that
of course.
suggests that because you usually cannot improve your time if the competition is not strong.
And if there's no competition, you can't
You
even
can't
measure your
even
time.
measure your time.
And that's why we needed to put this thing back on the bench. And we every year is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Because you see, for sports like swimming and athletics and things, it's time. So once you run or you swim, say in a sanctioned competition, and you make a time that gets you, you make a qualifying time that opens the door to a national competition, you can go. But for a lot of these people, like Samen said, there is no awareness. The other challenge they have is money. Funding to go and take part in high-level international competitions. So they are sharpened and then they swim against some of the better people from the other countries.
I know that a lot of the guys were very young. Was
Yes.
that deliberate? Most of them were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Swimming, you have to start young.
Oh, so that was the plan.
Yes. You start
Swimming, you
young.
have to start young. If you look at competitive swimming,
Okay.
if you are 25, 26, you're a veteran.
Oh,
Yeah,
You start young.
South Africa had some world champions
Some
recently.
started swimming as
Chadley
early
Clough.
as 6
So
months.
it came out of what you were talking about.
Yes, Chadley Clough.
Which African countries are strong in swimming?
South Africa is
Africa.
obviously
Zimbabwe.
very strong. Zimbabwe at a time
Time, yes.
used to have a program.
So, how many years will it take Ghana if we continue doing the right things to even do well Africa Games?
Quite a bit, because the North Africans have a lead on us. They have proper clubs.
Okay.
When you hear Lali, Zamalek, and the rest, they're not just football clubs.
Oh, so
got
they have
volleyball,
they have
They are
everything.
sports
They've
clubs.
got
So they have
hockey
volley, they have
teams,
athletics,
they've
they
got
have
everything,
basketball
and they've
teams,
got
they've got
all-round
swimming clubs.
facilities
Oh.
for these things. And you asked the question about, this looks like a Daddy B sport. There's nothing wrong with it. There are certain sporting categories, by virtue of what is required, become exclusive.
Okay.
You might have an outlier in there, which is what programs like this might do. It will give somebody an opportunity who might have talent to get noticed and then picked up by a Marlins, a Dolphins, who would then provide an avenue for you. So now you have proper training, you have access. Because access to a pool is expensive. Even as adults, it costs money to
Yes.
access a swimming pool.
Yes.
So how much more
To do it
your
regularly.
9, 10-year-old who wants to become a competitive swimmer. So let us understand that, look, the nature of sports is such that some sports cut off some brackets.
Social bracket.
So yes, it cuts off some social brackets. And there's nothing wrong with it. It is that is, if I'll give you a typical example, there are very few poor people stories in tennis.
Yes. Because the resources are
You have
People who succeed
people are
in tennis.
relocating from countries
to just go and
to
practice
just go
tennis.
and practice tennis.
Wow.
You understand? Families are moving. How many can afford to do that here? You understand? A whole lot of those exist. Swimming is one of those sports. If you look at our swimming team at the moment, most of our elite swimmers we're not born here now. If you are talking about Kaya, the Fossen family,
And there's
there's a family also from Spain, I think. It was the Jacksons, though, who were based here, but also have
The father,
as a swim coach.
yeah, he himself is very interested in
Yes,
it.
but they have also significant resources to be able to pursue.
So it's
some
still
of
at
these
its
things.
nascent stages.
Yes, very.
So we are building. What is the story about sponsorship, though? In terms of what type of sponsorship would they need for
Well, they need, first of all, they need the sport discipline, swimming itself, to attract its kind of sponsorship. And then you need the club sponsorship and then the individual sponsorship. But what do we need at the national level? Investment into
swimming pools.
Swimming pools. You understand? And I think swimming pools, we should see the way we are doing the astroturf in communities. We should be able to identify, maybe we should identify some communities and at least invest. Look, a whole,
swimming pools.
Bernard, a whole place like Tema does not have even one. Not one. And I'm talking about something accessible to the public.
Okay,
Tema, they don't have one.
but that's not right.
So it means that we have erased this whole swimming thing from our national sporting curriculum.
Well, it's a fresh thing and it's new and it looks like a long shot. But you said we are going to continue this and make it annual.
Next year is on the 13th and 14th of July.
I was always wanting to ask you why swimming and why not any other game.
Why not swim?
No, I'm just asking. I know because there are so many
you
things.
see,
So why swimming?
for the many reasons we have talked about, that swimming offers us a certain opportunity that we are not taking advantage of. You understand? And I think that it opens up a new area for youth development. You understand? Boxing, you can say the same. You understand? But for us as an institution, we require a lot more resources to go into boxing.
Because
Really?
it's a more
Because you need,
established area.
with boxing, you see, you have to. It's like a high contact arrangement with the boxers. You have to deal with them. You have to deal with their schooling. You have to deal with what they do when they are not boxing.
Yeah. But then for swimming, there's already things they are doing.
Exactly.
So it's easier to manage.
Yes.
It's easier to manage.
So that's why we are starting with. I mean, ordinarily, if we had the resources, athletics should have been one thing that we should.
Yeah, this weekend they were doing intercore at LWAC. And the students were many.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they were all being able to enter the stadium. I
Well,
don't know if
what-
there were any new times.
But the thing is that, Bernard, the students go for intercore not because they want to watch somebody win.
No, they want to go and socialize.
It's a day out.
It's a day out.
It's
breaks
a
the rules.
It's a
social.
day out.
Show your
But
sneakers.
at the national level, Godfrey, you two will know this one.
Oh, yeah.
At the national level, where is the athletics meet? When are we saying that this is the competition?
So
at the
that's
national
the question.
level?
When was the last time we had a national athletics championships?
It's been a while. What happens regularly is again a private initiative.
Why not? Why?
Rex's project, the Ghana's fastest human, that happens a bit more regularly than.
You mean so?
There,
at the
there
official
was
level-
one. There was one about 3 years
The
ago
fact that we are
at the
struggling
Cape
to
Coast
recall is
at the
the
Cape
problem.
Coast Stadium. I think it was
Recall
used as the qualifier.
A senior championship.
A senior
That is what I'm
championship,
saying.
yeah.
So we haven't had a proper national championship athletics in
Where we
America.
bring, so for instance, you have a John Paul running, you would have
Azamati.
Azamati running in Ghana. It's
We
been a
haven't
while.
done.
No, but why?
Last
should-
one
no,
was
but-
like the
but-
seniors.
Will
Why
people
should,
go?
No, why should Azamati be the one to come to travel at his own expense and come and take part in something that will be of no direct benefit to him? Why aren't we developing this thing incrementally to make it attractive for Azamati to think that if I use my money, it puts me on a certain pedestal for people to recognize that I'm even back in my home, I'm the champion.
So using the swimming example, what organization is mandated to develop athletics in Ghana? Is it what's the name of the
Yes, the Ghana Athletics
Athletics.
Association.
Are they
Athletics Ghana.
So what are they doing?
Well, like I'm saying,
Is it they don't have money? What's their problem?
there's a lot happening. One, we don't have, same as Amenso was talking about the pools. We have a lot of athletes or sprinters,
Yeah, not
but the
enough
facilities.
So the guys can't even train.
Where in Accra, outside of the Accra Sports State, LWAC,
LWAC.
and the
Whose
Tartans
tartan
there are one,
tracks are
and the University of Ghana. I don't know the kind of access you can get to the University of Ghana's tartan tracks previously. Where are you going to train?
The
a sprinter?
whole of Accra.
Yeah, this Accra. Kumasi, everybody goes to Babayara.
Because the university I was in the UK, almost every university has a proper
Yeah.
system for training.
See.
So
The secondary schools don't even
But has
have
the athletics association come to say they need help? We should do something.
But Husseini is a regular visitor to Citi FM. He's here all the time. He's the CEO
So
of
who is
the
supposed to give
authority.
them money?
But Bernard, the Athletics Association is not the one to put up infrastructure.
No, what I'm saying is that you know how the swimming people, you and them collaborated and we started this. So what are they doing?
They also collaborate.
They are there. But we did.
They also
we did
collaborate.
cross
Yes.
country with them.
That's what I'm saying.
them,
That's what I'm saying.
2
So,
years ago.
but it had to take us to do it. So what are they doing?
But they do collaborate.
So they don't have anything.
No, they do collaborate. They
Isn't
have-
there like a budget allocation for them?
from who?
The government
To do what?
to do events.
Which government?
The government of
allocation.
Ghana.
Do you know
I told
that
you about the sports minister the last time you were
So
here
what are you people
fighting
saying?
me.
That are you saying that like there's
the
no
sports budget
wait?
is
Isn't
so
there an
small to go
allocation?
around,
Isn't there an allocation of sports budget for athletics?
Do
Bernard,
what? There's
To do competition.
There's a sports allocation to travel.
Are you serious?
Yes, there's a sport. That
So-
is the only allocation
So
you will get. Travel.
there's no allocation for like a meet national.
Travel. Bernard, read my
Bernard,
lips.
I'm saying,
Kẹwọn fagbẹ, kẹwọn fagbẹ, wọ́n bá ná sika kẹ́ abo.
Travel to by who?
To go
To go abroad. We are going to run. We are going somewhere. We will find money.
Charlie, you go kill me.
Bernard, the sports ministry gets an allocation from the finance ministry, but that allocation is not enough to go around. You understand? That's the problem. It's not enough to go around.
Whose job is it to bring the private sector
Bernard,
into this?
before you come in, the world over, that allocation you are talking about has never been enough.
Yes.
Even in the UK.
So you find your own.
That's why you use media to project it,
Yes.
make it attractive.
Then the sponsors will
bring
come on.
See, somebody just wrote something. If you can read the last one.
No, I can't read this. I don't watch Ghana Premier League because I usually struggle to see the ball. The pitches are whiter than the football. There has to be serious change to attract viewers. Oh, Charlie, is it that bad?
Look,
I won't talk.
one English Premier League match
Yes.
deploys, hear me,
Yeah.
at least 24 cameras.
Charlie, that's a lot of money, man.
At least,
Yeah.
Not talk of,
So when you watch Netbusters is just a highlight show of different camera angles. That's all.
24. And I'm talking about the cameras. The one camera cost about $50,000.
Jesus.
That's what I'm talking about. 24 of those things. If you take these pinhole cameras and go and stand
Charlie.
at the Accra Sports Stadium, you will see the football. They say the way the man is talking. They say the pitches are whiter than the football. Nobody wants to invest in it. And yet, we want to be counted among the best.
I wanted to ask you guys a question. Is there enough interest in non-football for it to make business and
non-football?
media sense?
So if you take football away,
Yeah, like in Ghana, football is a big thing.
Yeah. Is it?
Supposed to be. If you did an athletics meet at the Accra Sports Stadium,
Yes.
and you say you are going to do the regionals, Accra's Ghana's fastest, will
Yeah.
people come?
Yes. If the awareness Samens is trying to create with swimming is there. So, for instance, the most popular intercourse, if I were a person, like
Kumasi.
Kumasi and Cape Coast, these are the two most popular intercourse.
You can push media.
Find
there.
a way of putting either Kumasi super zonals, just the sprints
On TV.
on TV, or Central Region on TV.
Okay, let me come. Bernard, you know NSMQ.
I tell you,
It's
it's media.
When did they start?
Oh,
Yes,
many years nobody
94.
knew.
When did we become popular?
because it was
After
on
we
TV.
started pushing it on TV,
After we took the team
started shouting,
Around with it.
And then we
and
pushed
ran
it,
the team
pushed
with it.
pushed it.
it became very popular. So you are saying that the
Very
media.
popular, and then people say
Yeah,
they
but
are
wait,
taking it somewhere else.
but wait, you are saying that the media. You know, the reason I don't like this thing when they say media is that you see people have their own spaces they protect. Somebody is doing athletics.
What are you protecting?
No, you don't get me. It makes it easy to say that the media is not the one pushing the thing.
No, it's not.
If the organization,
media pushes.
if the thing is not attractive, why would media come and push it?
But Bernard, which one is not attractive? The media is not pushing boxing. So where is boxing today?
But are there boxing events happening?
Yes.
Yeah, there
Yes.
are boxing events happening.
There's a look. If you go to the Bukom Boxing and Program every weekend, it's full.
So how come we are not showing?
I went to buy fish. The last time we were doing that, we went to buy fish.
The boxing league.
We went to buy fish at where they call Shatter Beach, that place.
But why?
Early
Hey, also
Saturday
now.
morning. Early Saturday morning. I saw young guys,
Training.
about 11, 12 years. They were, training vigorously. And I was told that they were going, the following week, they were going for a tournament in Europe. About 3 of them. I'm not sure
But
they
why-
are even 15
Why
years.
isn't it on TV? The boxing.
Because we haven't structured, we have not invested in infrastructure.
Listeners, would you watch a boxing league on TV? Local boxing? Would you watch an athletics?
This-
I'm asking them.
But people
Will you-
watch.
will you watch-
When Banku Empowers put up the show at their passport?
That was massive.
We ran, Godfrey. We did a play-by-play. We did.
Yeah,
It was
but-
on
but that
radio.
was
We did
big.
radio.
But also because we had a Banku. We don't have anybody.
No, but you see,
You need,
it's,
you
it's
need,
about telling.
you need.
It's about telling
Banku,
those stories.
Boko Banku did a lot for boxing with Ite Powers. That thing they did.
Yes.
But we don't have anybody again.
So somebody needs to pick it up. That's
We are doing with swimming.
we are doing with swimming. You understand? So,
So-
this year somebody might say, "Oh, the interest is at this level." Next year he says he's coming back. It's the consistency of it. So we've seen a few young faces this year. At least now they have visibility. Next year we will check out those same persons, check out the times they are swimming, and see what the progress that has come from there. Now, what would happen is once that happens, you would expect then that opportunities would be made available to those persons, facilitated by the sports ministry and the association, to give them the opportunity to perhaps to improve themselves and then come back and compete. You see, some of these things don't happen by magic. I'll tell you something. Before the London 2012 Olympics, and I'll give you 2 separate examples of what I'm talking about. The Brits, they have this thing for diving. You know, the sport of diving.
yeah.
It's a swim event, I think.
Yeah, one of the aquatic.
Is that one of the aquatic ones? And then swimming itself. Because everybody realized that there are a lot of medals
That are available for
available
grabs,
for grabs
where we can win
there. So they set in motion a plan.
to collect the diving medals.
The diving medals. They took money from other places, and sunk it there because they realized that, okay, there's an opportunity. We can get 5 or 6
There are 6
here.
medals in diving.
They
and
got
it costs less to prepare a diver.
They got that. Do you realize that there was a time when we got quite good with weightlifting in Ghana?
Yes.
What happened? At the same, we got in quite good with weightlifting at a time when Ben Nunu Mensah was running it from his pocket.
Oh, that was why.
Yes. When he moved on to the GOC, at a time when Ghana's weightlifting team goes out, they come back with 29 medals.
All Africa games.
If we go for games and Ghana comes back with 10 medals, 8 of it is weightlifting.
So what happened?
Because he stopped being involved directly.
Oh, Ghana.
The states could not carry it on.
To develop shot put. You tell me.
Some of them may come with their channel. So the interest in Ghana's weightlifting at the time was equal to the interest in weightlifting in Nigeria at the time. But you realize that Nigeria has become a powerhouse
in weightlifting.
in para-weightlifting, in weightlifting, and in powerlifting itself. Why? Because they realized also that they could get more medals from there, get more visibility from there. So the people who were doing the work, once they got to a certain level, they started employing them in, what's the name of NEPA?
Yes.
The power company.
Never. Yes.
Yes.
Never.
So that they
can have a stable income, and then they can
and
push
just
the weight.
focus. That was the state's contribution to making sure that the people can just remain as weightlifters.
So what is our problem?
Our problem is Isaac Isiama. Our problem is Mustafa Yusuf. Our problem is the last 5 or 6.
Isn't the problem deeper than just?
No, it is not. Bernard, it is not.
So if you have
it is not.
So the minister can make a lot of difference.
The minister can, the same way we sit here and praise other public officers for making changes in their space. Why is it that we tend to want to insulate the sports ministers from their inability to make differences?
Because I'm looking at like athletics and the challenge of athletics.
Bernard, do you know one of the champs in Jamaica? Do you know what it is? It's not the national championship. It is their interco version of interco high school. Bernard, it is on TV, live TV, prime time for 3 days.
Wow.
Friday, Saturday,
and people
Sunday.
are watching.
Bernard, it is watched by 20,000 people at the stadium and millions on In fact, in the US, it has its own screen time. In the US, the champs in Jamaica, it is interco.
That's where the next level of
Yeah,
talent
because
You
when the
are
American
watching
colleges,
Tina and Tia Clayton.
the
I
hottest
sit in
under
Ghana.
20 runners,
I sit in Ghana and I know who the top under 17 runners are in Jamaica. Because they will compete on TV for me to watch.
So Sky, what is the problem?
It's a lack of thinking and planning.
Oh, but we are thinking every day.
My left hand is.
You said that Ghanaians can think a lot.
See, when they want to beat the system, according to someone.
It's true. It's true when they want to beat the system.
No, because you say the problem is lack of. But Ghanaians think.
It's about thinking and to
I'm
beat the
getting
system.
very
Like,
sad listening to.
Bernard,
this.
let me show you. I think it stems from even as a country, our own disposition to how we view sports. We always see it as an
Shemo.
afterthought or
Shemo.
it's recreation. But in other places, like Samen said, in other places they've realized that it is taking people off the street. It's providing. Samen give an example. Let me give you another
national
example.
psyche.
When you have one Premier League game, the Premier League that we watch on TV and enjoy, one Saturday, if Everton is playing Aston Villa, do you know how many people get employed by that?
my
The
friend,
camera people. So first the players, the camera people, the tea lady,
Security.
the cake lady, the security man,
then
the
the
steward,
cleaning
the
boys.
ball boy. Those people, because they've come to understand that it's not only football running up and down and kicking balls left, right, center. It evolves. There's- Yes.
Charlie, I'm worried though because the way the society is going and we are seeing the problem easy and we can't solve it. Maybe we are wrong. Maybe it's difficult.
The question is,
Maybe the thing is harder than we think.
at what point?
I mean, because like this when we talk about planning, and it sounds like it's so obvious that we can't do it. We are talking about sports development. It sounds so obvious. So maybe the thing is hard.
No, it's not hard.
Maybe it's harder than we think. Maybe we are just.
No,
maybe we are just doing wishful thinking.
When you meet the people in charge, they will tell you, move every time you sit on radio, you think it's easy. That's what they tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too
But
now.
how come? The question I ask is that how come
Other countries do.
others have done it? How come? You see, because I think it's just the willingness to do it, and then you prepare for it, you plan for it. Nothing has ever happened by accident. When countries are succeeding, it's not by accident.
So the planning thing is back. So we are, we went round. Now we are back to planning. Like we started with planning, we went round. We come back.
Then have you ever seen anything achieved on this earth without a plan before? Tell me one.
Accident.
Tell me one.
Accident.
You know,
is the only thing
statutorily,
that
we have the National Sports Festival.
every year.
When was the last time it was organized in this country? The National Sports Festival.
Charlie, that thing is something. Anyway,
Don't worry,
let's
we'll swim away.
Let's read some comments around this.
They brought this thing, NSMQ here to Citi. Bernard said that, no, this one present the inside. So we should do it. We should do it. We took the challenge. We pushed the thing.
Edit
The
lives.
thing started trending. If media will not push it, nothing will happen. But the organizers or the owners of the NSMQ were first of all organized.
The organization.
You see, they had a plan. The only gap was the media.
So if you bring the media when you have a plan, then it will go.
Yes.
Because
And
the media
before-
won't plan for you.
Prior to that, they were struggling with resources.
Yeah, there was even a year
After
it wasn't
media
help.
came, explosion. Everybody wants to be part of it. Look at the model for NSMQ.
And replicate it.
Can we not replicate this with athletics? Can we not?
Serious too. Charlie, serious point. That's because secondary school passion is there.
And we are just
Me, I wear
joking
my
with everything.
I wear my blue and white and go and watch my pre-seconds.
We are just joking with everything.
That till date, we have not been able to monetize Intercore.
It's a
shame.
It's a shame. It's true.
That we have not
Because-
been able to monetize Intercore.
Because it's such a powerful thing. Charlie, athletics. Oh my God.
That we have not been able to manage to. Did you not see the young Boche boy who was running and they were shouting?
Yeah.
Boche Ogasco at this school, one track.
Yeah. And you know, people will go. Me, self, I'll go. I'll go and watch.
Yeah, but do you have,
You know,
do you
our
have
zone.
the parks these days though? The running tracks, are they?
They said they're
That's
only
what we are
two.
saying. The running tracks are
not
in
available.
horrible shape. They are not
The
available.
one at Elbach.
Elbach
But
is
they
old.
said the youth resource centers that never get completed will have tartan tracks. We pray to God.
Because when you don't have tartan tracks, the athletes don't stand a chance of professionally running. So you need that.
That one there. If you don't have the tracks,
And they wear their
it won't work.
spikes.
I know of a particular year when the Ghana Athletics Association organized marathons. Some of the people were running on grass.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh yeah, that's
Now, the first time they were introduced to a tartan track, they were all over the
I mean,
place.
Nana. I don't understand. I mean, Nana, Charlie. But you know, Ghanaians, we also need to show leadership in our spaces because, like the NSMQ example you gave, some people came up with it. They didn't wait for the state and they started doing it. And then other people came to help. So we have to. Business leaders, large telcos, companies, you know, let's think beyond profit. Because sports development is national development.
it helps everybody.
You know, and swimming is what we are doing today. Somebody can do athletics, somebody can do boxing.
But Max TV actually shows
TV, yeah.
the
boxing
boxing thing.
Or Max TV, they show.
Max is showing the boxing league.
That's
Let
very
me
good.
ask you something.
I'm
Again,
listening.
you see, why I get upset. When we're going to the World Cup, between in a 6-month period, how much money did the sports ministry raise for the Black Stars from corporate Ghana? They raised like $4 million or $5 million.
Because of the Mundial.
Going to World Cup, they raised like $5 million. So if you can do that, pay that kind of attention, you won't raise that same amount for athletics or something. But if you put your shoulders to the wheel,
You can raise something.
you will raise something. Now, once you raise that thing and you put it in, and the people see, look, some of the media houses in this country, all they are looking for is content. They might not even
Yeah.
charge you first.
Yeah. So if the content is good,
If the
Because
content
it
is
feel-
good,
it feels
they'll
like-
take up the production cost.
yeah.
And then later on, when revenue grows, they will find ways of sharing it with you. Okay? But it's almost always like, but for me, it's frustrating.
There's a defining text message. You read that.
But why are you forcing me to read this? Is that Bernard?
Because it defines everything.
My lecturer studied in Japan. He told us in Japan, once you hit 18 years, it's mandatory for you to learn how to swim, how to drive, how to survive earthquake and self-defense.
Self-defense, yes.
But in Ghana, when you hit 18, the only thing the politician will force you to do is to vote.
It's true. It's true.